Welcome to another episode of Pels in a Blender. It's your boy Davis coming to y'all on this. Today is Tuesday. Yep, Tuesday morning. Appreciate everybody for tapping in, joining in, and whatnot. Man, it's been a little bit since it's been a little bit since I dropped the episode and whatnot, but here and to be honest, man, it's been a while. The Thanksgiving break came, you know what I mean, and had to take some time with the family. Had to had to work a bunch and whatnot. So was watching these games and kind of tuning, but wasn't able to put an episode out. And in real Pels fashion, it's been a lot going on with these couple games. We had the uh what game was that? The game before the day before Thanksgiving. Who we lost to? Memphis. You had the game that came down to the wire and UNOT in Memphis, and then you had that was what was that? The first night of a back to back. I think you had. Hold on, let me go ahead and pull up this damn. Let me go ahead and pull up this schedule, man, so we could get these games right. I know they didn't played the Lakers since then. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with these dudes, bro. So we played. Okay, it was the what we played the Grizzlies. Then a couple days off, we played the Warriors, and then on the back to back we had the Lakers. Little LA road trip or whatever. And obviously, in real Pels fashion, they blew the one against Memphis. You absolutely could have won that game. You let go of the rope in that one. Golden State, while it felt like the game was just ugly, man. Steph wasn't playing. I think Trey sat out that game. The offense was one of those ugly games. But again, you was that close towards the end of the game and you had a chance, but we don't find ways to win games and stuff like that. You just we more so like just find ways to lose, let go of the rope, and then like it's just getting progressively worse. Not worse in the sense of like how it looks to a degree because they are competing more. But when you don't have the players on the court, this is just what it's gonna look like. Like you playing a lot of rookies and you know what I mean? Like and your best players are not really playing their best self, like playing as the best versions of themselves. So that's kind of where you know what I mean? That's kind of where you at. So it just is what it is. Whoa, what's good, bro? The mindset of Joe, they chilling, though. And I hate to say it that way, but Joe came into the season saying I'm not gonna put a win total on this team. Like I just want to see what's going on. You know how he was like, I'm sitting here watching and everything. I think that's kind of what they doing. Seeing what's going on. But at some point we probably just move everything. But who knows? Who knows? Because bad organizations do bad things. So it's actually interesting. And I have a couple ideas and thoughts on what Joe Nim might do, but it's really tough right now to say what's going on because to be honest, like what do you do? What do you do? You took too long to fire Willie, right? Like coming into the season, you got off to the bad start, didn't fire him after the 0-6. Honestly, I probably would have fired him after the 0-2 because it just felt like the energy was off, even though you was competitive in both games. Like it just didn't feel right. Pause. That might be crazy. I don't know, but nah, man. Like just this team is just really late with everything. But the main problem right now is that the players not playing. The players not playing. Now the benefit of it is even though the players that the young players are playing, the players that are gonna be here are playing, and like they're getting a lot more experience than like you would expect for two players, drafted that high sometimes on a team that you thought was gonna be competitive was gonna get. So Fizz playing as much as he's playing is really good. Like Queen and they got to figure Queen out. They got to figure the Queen situation out. But like, like those dudes, Peavy finally starting to get minutes and stuff like that. I like that Bryce McGowan's getting minutes. Like he ain't got no reason not to play. So all of the young dudes that's playing, I think that's dope. Like I think that's the team is bad. So that's kind of what it is. But you put yourself, you put yourself in a bind when you started off 0-6, or even just coming into the season with Willie Green. But I'm not about to make this one all about Willie Green. So I kind of want to couple things. I want to get the bad out the way necessarily, and I don't know if I want to consider it bad because what is absolutely bad. So yes, but I kind of want to get that part out the way, and then kind of shifting some of the fun stuff I kind of want to talk about, because at the end of the day, we need some kind of hope, some kind of optimism, and I think the only way you can do that at this point is look at reshaping the team. In reshaping the team comes in a bunch of different forms. So like with what's going on right now, to me, I don't think they've quit yet. I don't know if quit is the word. I think that one, they're just not good. Two, I don't think the organization is run well enough for us to understand like what a good process is or what a good process looks like. That's what I mean. So like if you look at the standings in the West, realistically, there's hope. But there is no plan. I don't think there's any urgency to compete for that spot. Like I think James Borrego might feel the sense of urgency to compete from that spot. I think the young players are just trying to play the best they can, but like they don't really know about impacting winning. But when I watch Zion play right now, Zion don't look like he's engaged. He don't look like he care about like the wins and losses and stuff like that. Like you don't really see him. Like just watch his face and stuff during the game, bro. Like his demeanor not right. I think he didn't checked out, right? And I don't know if y'all pay attention to like body languages and stuff like that, but like he been doing this all season, man. And I noticed that I think it was in the off season. I don't know what's going on. He been doing this weird thing, like he been sticking his tongue out a lot and whatnot. I'm like, dog, what the hell is that? You ain't never done that. Like, where you pick that up from? So I don't know. It's just his facial expressions is like he don't believe for whatever reason. We don't know what's going on with JP. JP ain't never been hurt this long. They don't give you Pelicans being Pelicans, they don't give you no updates and stuff like that. And it don't seem like they got any urgency to come back and play for this shit. So whatever happened early in the season with JP and Willie and whatever took place with the organization, kind of like, I don't know if it's one of those situations where Willie, you know how Joe Dumas had the, hey man, if you come to me and tell me you don't want to be here, I'll figure out how to get you out. I don't know if that's kind of where we at. You ain't got no DeJounte Murray updates. So I don't know. Also, I learned the Monty Williams hire in Detroit was an ownership thing and not him. Makes me look at him different. He put together a good roster there, so I do believe in his draft. And not Troy. Wait, hold on. And not Troy is a thing. What you mean? Redo that. I think Troy's a good, bro. Troy got an eye for talent. Troy got an eye for talent for sure. Troy, you believe in? Okay, bet. Like I believe in Troy from the aspect of acquiring, like knowing talent, like young players and stuff like that. Absolutely, the dude studied under Presti and OKC, so I think he has the eye for talent for sure. And being able to see it now, as far as like making it in a like doing the other things to make a team effective, opposed to just picking the talent. That's the part where I got questions about. The Monty Williams was an ownership hire. All right, cool, bet. So like again, they shifted to so speaking of like the hiring and stuff like that, they shifted to, and I think a lot of the reporting been coming out. Shout out to Schmidt talking about Dumars and Troy just kind of like hide out, not really seeing too much and stuff like that. I think they just they know, bro. They probably just waiting it out this year when they didn't get the okay to go fire Willie. I think they just riding the season out. They went got their guys. They believe in Queen and Fizz. And I think honestly, they just giving everybody the rope to hang themselves. I don't know, like, to be honest, like, okay, you want to keep Willie? Okay, we're gonna throw Willie out there. Willie look bad, all right, we'll get rid of him. Everybody was talking about we want James Borrego, and while James Borrego has to a degree looks somewhat better than Willie as far as like trying to establish an identity, I think he's come in like he's gotten the short end of the stick by not having an off season and not having the team fully healthy, and they still not healthy and all of that, to where you're trying to win. Queen is on like a rough-ish stretch, but the part that got me not believing in James Borrego is the games that they won, the 3 games that they won, like Queen was a big part of why they won those games. So I don't know why the offense, and even if you're trying to play with pace and all of that, if you're supposed to be an offensive coach, you should be able to shape and mold this around Queen right now. So like Queen not playing, Queen getting 17 minutes and 16 minutes to me is like unacceptable from James Borrego, because not necessarily because I understand he's trying to win and Missy has looked good as far as like his energy defensively and stuff like that, but it's too many limited players to a degree, right? It's too many limited players. I posted that a while ago on X. It's like every player got so many limitations, man, to where you can't, you kind of got to pick and choose. Nobody's a true two-way, right? Nobody's a real great offensive and defensive player. So it's kind of like we got players that's effective offensively, but they can't shoot, or they're effective offensively, but they can't defend, right? You just kind of got a whole bunch of issues up and down the roster. The thing is, though, you were most effective and had most control of the games when you were playing through Derek Queen. So if you watching the film and stuff like that, I know you want to play fast, but at the same time, you have to understand that like playing through that guy is what got you the wins. So taking him off the court, even if at times it looked like, Missy is more effective, you know what I mean? Like, no, like you gotta play through the guy. Plus, if you looking for some long-term stability, right? Looking for some long-term stability, I would tend to try to appeal to Joe Dumars and Troy Weaver, saying, I'm the one who made Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fizz look as good as possible. Like that would be my focus if I was coaching this team. So I don't know, man. Just the I do not like what I see from Borrego as far as like I like the pace and what it is he's trying to do, but I think to a degree he's overthinking. And he said give him 10 games and stuff like that, but they 1-9. They 1-9. Has it officially been 10 games yet? Like I don't know if it's even officially been. I think it has. They played. Who was his first game? His first game was against the Lakers? No, the Warriors. Warriors, Thunder, Nuggets, Mavericks, Hawks. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's had 9 games. So he's 1-8. He's 1-8. Now, granted, you don't have all your players. Herb been out lately. Trey been out. Z don't play in back-to-backs. Carlo ain't there. So it's man, listen, it's tough. Don't get me wrong. It's tough, but that's just the way it is. You had games that you should have won that you weren't. And I think because of him, you weren't able to win. Like the Dallas game, you gotta have. Chicago game, you did win. The Grizzlies game, you gotta win that game. No job, you gotta win that game. Even the Warriors to a degree, the Warriors with no Steph, we gotta find a way to win that game. the Hawks been playing okay. Jalen Johnson going crazy, so maybe you don't win that one. But like, instead of being 1-9, man, you should have two or three more wins. And just being right there not good enough, especially when you're trying to turn it around. So I don't know. I just don't like what I'm seeing from the team. And it's top down. It's organizationally. Again, we don't hear nothing about these injuries. Like, you kind of got the update, but you don't hear no timeline as to when anybody's coming back. People don't speak. You know what I mean? Like, you don't hear from. And I've been on that for a while too. People finally starting to pick it up. I'm like, bro, Zion don't do post game. Like, he do a couple games at practice, like a couple interviews at practice, but Z don't do post game. What is that about? Like, y'all had to do that draft at the draft, and then, trying to make sure he show up, and then they got him doing the interview, and he was talking about he gonna take more of a leadership role. Like, was that just if excuse me, if all of that was to build Zion draft stock, realistically, you could have moved them in the beginning of the season when everybody was like, before the game started, you probably could have moved them and got something for him, because people were kind of like, man, Zion might be back, right? So now I don't know if it makes sense to move him during the season. I guess it just depends, but we'll see. Once that, I think I'm just kind of ready for, like, honestly, I'm ready for everybody to go. Don't nobody really impact winning like they should. Zion don't really have that. Well, I don't want to say he don't have the impact, because when he plays, the team is just obviously more competitive. You're in games, and you have a chance to win, but it's not gonna do anything for you. Trey, might be your most valuable asset, but again, this team is like, I don't know, at best, depending on what you make, 3 to 4 years away, right? 3 to 4 years away. And you got to look at that in terms of, like, okay, Golden State will be older. Who knows what Minnesota gonna look like? Denver will be a little older. Like, most of the teams that's gonna around right now will be a little bit older. So you got to kind of time your window. Like, OKC still gonna be there, but you got to time your window to where these guys might be out of the way. So, like, what is Trey gonna do for you in these next 2 to 3 years? Like, people might be happy to see him. Here's a good piece to have with Queen and Fizz and stuff like that. But to be honest, like, it's not, you're not winning anything. You're not going anywhere. So if you can maximize the assets, right, and give Troy more opportunities to hit in the draft, then you got to do it, right? I still, like, even though they 3-17, and I understand about trading the pick and stuff like that, I didn't care about the pick then. And to be honest, I still don't care about the pick. Like, once you decide to let it go, like, I'm not going back and be like, man, like, again, same thing to what they said, like, it'd be nice to have it. Like, yeah, it was a not smart move, but they did it and it's gone. So, like, it is what it is. So I don't really care about the pick per se, especially, again, when you got pieces to where you could get back into the draft. They play tonight. They'll probably lose, right? Even though they played well against Minnesota. Like, once you start being the team that lose all of the time, like, you just find ways to lose. That's exactly the look. Boom. Bruh, this was the move right here. I got it written down. Hold on. I don't know if you can see it because of the brightness and stuff like that, but I got my list. We're going to go through a potential moves and stuff we can make that's going to turn it around and give you some hope, right? Turn it around and give you some hope. So, like, but to kind of, discuss, like, the games and stuff like that today, it don't matter. It don't matter. One, it don't matter because even if they win, yeah, it's nice to get a win. Cool. You want to get as many wins as possible. But, like, until the team is, like, I don't want to say fully healthy, but at least consistently healthy. And injuries are up throughout the league anyway. So it's not just us, but we're just somehow just always decimated with injuries. Everybody's hurt extended periods of time. But, like, until you can get everybody back on the court consistently, don't nothing matter. Don't nothing matter. Like Z with this roster not going is not going to be able to carry them consistently. And I think James Borrego is not leaning into. I think he's not doing a good job, in my opinion, of leaning into the best players. Right, like right now, Derek Queen is probably his. I don't know, me. I don't know how you feel about Sadiq Bey. Right, Sadiq Bey been hooping, but like even in Queen struggles, like he's the one who impacts the game the most. Like you can't keep taking that guy off the court. And I understand he's not been good defensively and stuff like that, but just having him out there does stuff for your team. Like, and he's going through like the rookie slumps and stuff like that, but they got to learn, bro. They got to learn to play through that. And you ain't got nothing to lose. You ain't got nothing to lose. In these games that you should be winning, bro, them dudes need to be playing 30, 35 minutes. It don't matter what happens with Missy. Like, respectfully, like, I'm not saying that Missy don't need to play, but like, bro, like he's not like impacting the game like that. If the Pels can get at least three first rounders, that's the first step of the rebuild. The very first step of the rebuild is figuring out the coach, right? And who would want to coach this team? I did a whole episode before about all of the possible coaching options and stuff like that. So we're not gonna go through that. But my thing is you have to find a coach, right, that fits the culture, because what I'm understanding about Borrego right now is, and I get it, Borrego trying to win, but his trying to win to me is what's causing us to lose, if that makes sense. Like, at the end of the day, you have to create the things around your best player. Like Derek Queen is, other than Z, is your most impactful player. The Pistons haven't signed Ivy and Duren. And some of the Pels are talking. I would. I know Ivy coming off the knee, and Duren, you're gonna have to give him like some max money. So I think that's the only way to sign Jalen Duren is like a max contract or something like that. So if you can find a way to create the spot in the offseason, absolutely, because Jalen Duren next to Queen would be a great, especially when you've seen like how his game has developed with the off ball, like being able to handle the ball. He's been shooting. He's been good defensively. He a beast in the post. Like, that would be a solid move. And I'll be honest, I expect them to try and do something like that. I expect them to try and like go after those kinds of players. Like, that's Troy players. Troy obviously talk about how much he like bigs and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised. Sam Cassell is the guy. Yeah, I think so. I don't know if Sam wants a job. They say that apparently they got some stuff about Sam behind the scenes to where they say it might be tough for Sam to get a job, which is why he's been an assistant. But Joe Dumars be the type to take a fly on guys like that. James Borrego not the guy. And it's still early in the season, but I just don't know if the philosophy, like the plan with pace and all of that, and again, he does use timeouts and stuff like that. He's better than Willie, but he has his own sets of flaws as well that, like, I just don't know if, and all coaches have made questionable decisions and stuff like that. But again, man, like in these games that Dallas team was decimated, bro. You can't let Cooper Flag go for 30 something and then you can't let people beat you when you're the more talented team, like beat you in the only way that they can beat you. Right? Like, you're not taking anything away from anybody. You're not making them do something different. Like, those are the signs of a good coach, even if it's one thing or even if it's limited. So to me, like, I thought James Borrego would be better at adjusting and maximizing the roster and stuff like that. Just because you play with more energy and more pace, like, don't mean strategically is going to be better. They're running some more offensive sets and all of that. Yeah, they look better than they did with Willie. I give him that. But just because you look better than you did with Willie, don't mean that it looks good. And that's just me. And again, you kind of had to give him some grace, obviously, with the no practices and stuff like that. That's a huge thing. The talent don't play. If the talent was there, maybe it'll look different. I firmly believe that. I do believe that he might look different when the talent plays. The other issue is that he is not leaning to me on the more talented players that he has. Like, even if Queen isn't playing the best or whatever, like Queen on the floor gives you the best opportunity to win. There's no reason from what Queen has shown you so far. There's no reason from what Queen has shown you so far and what Missy has shown you so far that their minutes should look similar at all. Right? Like Eves, even when he's engaged defensively and all of that, he just cannot impact the game the way Derek Queen can. So at best, you could play them together. And that's some limitations there, but like, bro, you just Trajan may want players he knows from his team. Possible shit, he could have them. I consider offering them Trey. They could use a player just like Trey. If I could do something for like Trey, I ain't look at the Detroit roster, but like if I could get Duran, Ivy coming off the knee. Ivy hadn't played a lot anyway, but if I could get like Duran and Isaiah Stewart, maybe I consider it. Jaden, let's see how much Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey only make $10 million. Both of them about to be free agents. I don't know if you got the money to do it, but like you definitely not getting the Thompson twin. You definitely not getting the Thompson twin. So I don't know. It's gonna be tough, man. Jerry Stackhouse, I consider Stackhouse for sure. Been in the league for a long time, been through Detroit, been around, I consider almost anybody for the job. One, who the hell gonna take the job? What is the job gonna look like? Like, that's the thing. Nobody knows what the job is gonna look like. I think Detroit would give Troy a few of his players he drafted in the trade. I don't think Trajan doing no favors for nobody. So that's what it's tough for. Zion, Trey, DeJounte, at least two of those players can flip for first round picks in separate trades. Absolutely. Well, while we here, we talk about the trades and stuff like that. I'm almost 30 minutes into the episode anyway. I'll go ahead and give y'all some of the ideas I think to reshape the team. Right? Some of the trades, we talking about trades. This season pretty much over, right? You're gonna need the only way for them to somewhat turn the season around, which I don't believe they'll do it. You need a consistent. How many games they got left? Like, what is 80? We had almost at 20 something. So you got like 60 something games left. You would need Poole Z, Trey, Herb, if Herb gonna be here, and then Murray and Murray come back. You're gonna need them dudes to pretty much be like consistently healthy for the rest of the season. And we just ain't seen it. I don't care what team you are in the NBA, you're not winning with the other team shooting 40 free throws. The league don't respect the Pelicans. Nope. We've always had one of the worst whistles in the league. Like, since I can remember, like, the Pelicans haven't had a great whistle. But the thing is no, we don't get a good whistle, but at the same time, we don't do enough to, like, I don't think we do enough to change our fortunes, and if that makes sense. So, like, if you remember, I think it was last year when JB Bickerstaff got to Detroit, right? When JB Bickerstaff got to Detroit wasn't getting a good whistle or nothing like that before, because they have been bad for all of those years. He said, look, man, we're going to play physical. We're going to foul people. We're going to do whatever we're going to do. And we just going to force people to either play through it or call it. Similar to what OKC did. But our team isn't constructed with those types of players, so we don't play like that. But at the same time, it's kind of like, if you just establish we're going to play physical, we're going to foul, or we're going to do whatever, and that's just the way it is, and it becomes the style that you play, then the refs tend to be like, all right, then that's just the way they play. As far as like offensively, us not getting the fouls and stuff like that, we don't get fouls because we bitching too much. all these dudes are whining and complaining and all of the time, bro. Like, if I'm a ref, I'm not giving you no call, bro. Like, Zion gets a bad whistle, but if you recall, like a couple games ago, bro, Zion shot like 16 free throws. I think he had a couple games where he's at like 10 to 12 free throws a game. So, no, the Pelicans don't get a great whistle, but I wouldn't give the Pelicans a great whistle either. Fuck them. Like, y'all play weak. Y'all play weak. Why am I giving you fouls? Like, y'all self-destruct. Why would I give you any calls? Like, I just, I don't know. That's just kind of how I look at it sometimes. And it shouldn't always be that way, but it's kind of like if you ever ref the game or something like that, like, yeah, sometimes you gotta call it, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, bro, we ain't calling nothing for nobody right now. But certain teams have reputations, like Seattle, the old Seattle Seahawks were known for holding, like the Legion of Boom were known for holding people, fouls, pass interferences, and all that. It's like, dog, they hold, you got to be physical and play through it. That's just part of what it is. You have to establish this is how we play. Like, and if you ain't out there, like, for example, if they ain't calling a foul, run that dude over. Make it to where, like, and I always wanted this for Zion, bro. Zion, and this is why I like Fizz so much. Zion, if they not giving you fouls, right, then, like, just start running people over. Just start running people over. And either they're going to say, all right, listen, we're going to have to stop him from doing that. So we're going to call, like, all right, he'll get a foul call, right? Or if not, like, people going to be out here getting hurt because Zion lowering the shoulder. Ain't nobody established that type of stuff. So that's the problem. And that's why they don't get no calls. The Pistons got a franchise point guard and pieces around them. Coach change made the biggest impact on the team. Absolutely. And this is the thing. If you remember the Pistons, the year before, or was it the year Trajan got there, the year before, man, them dudes had lost like 20 straight games under Monty. Like, it was like an NBA record losing streak. They was one of the worst teams in the league. Remember, they was in the was that the Wemby draft? Maybe when they potentially had it and ended up getting like 5, bro. The Pistons were historically bad. That's how you even get Cade and Jalen and Ivy and all. Like, that's Thompson and Holland. Like, bro, that's multiple years of top 5 picks. So they were like, people look at what they are now, but bro, them dudes were bad for like 5 to 7 years, like god awful. That's what a rebuild looked like. They tried a bunch of different types of coaches. They finally hit on a coach, got the right kind of guy, and then Cade became a star. And now the pieces, and Trajan got there, the coach got there, Cade became a star, boom. And the East ain't that strong. The East ain't that strong. So if you look at it from the Pistons perspective, if you get the right coach, you got two pieces that I believe could be a part of something in the future, regardless of if you think Fierce or Queen are going to be superstars or whatever. They are players that could play. They're talented and they can be good pieces on a team, right? You got to strip the rest of this down. Like, that's just what it boils down to. Like, it don't do nothing for you right now. And like, I like Trey Murphy. I like Z. You know what I mean? But what is having Z for another 2 years gonna do? The Pistons were the worst team that Wemby was drafted, and they got the number 5 pick. Exactly. So like, the being bad is like, when you're bad, sometimes you just gotta lean into being bad. They domesticated Herb. Now you laughing on the sideline with the rest of them losing. Yo, that shit is, I've been saying it, bro. That's when you start losing, and like this team's soft. Like Draymond said it years ago, like, bro, it's the Pelicans. Like, who cares? Nobody cares. And don't nobody stand up for each other or nothing like that. That's why, like, if I'm Fizz, get these dudes out of here. I don't want that loser shit rubbing up. Like, he getting into it with everybody in every game. Yeah, we losing. You supposed to be happy about losing. What you smiling about? What you happy about? Anybody that's happy with being 3-17, like, everybody should be annoyed. Like, But it's been like they didn't dealt with this kind of stuff for years. That's why you gotta get it all out the way. You gotta get it all out the way. So this is not something that's consistent, right? So let's go into some of the fun stuff, man. I didn't even before this season, like I was you can't trade Z, but like, what do you do if you trade Zion? Like, where do you go? What do you try to go get? So with that being the case, if Carlo, if Queen is your guy, right? Queen and Fizz right now are your guys. Like, what does Queen need? What does Queen need to be successful? Right? He needs like some of the same stuff Zion need, to be honest. Like, you need a 7-foot stretch. Like, we need Chet. You can't get Chet. So what's the closest thing you could get for Chet? Like, so I think you have to use your players to get those types of players. So my first initial deal was like Zion for Khalil Ware from Miami, right? Give me Ware from Miami, and that's the main piece you need, right? That's the main cornerstone piece. He a young 7-footer, shoot, post game, stretch, pass, defend the rim, like all like. The only reason I'm even considering sending Z to Miami, whoa, what's good, bro? The only reason I'm even considering sending Z to Miami is so I could get, whoa, what it do? You hear me? Appreciate y'all for pulling up. The only reason I'm sending Z to Miami is to get Khalil Webb. And whatever else we got to do, we get that done. Miami been looking for another star. I don't really care how what we got to do it. So, like, example, when OKC was going through their rebuild and they knew we wasn't gonna win. KD left. Russ, we can't win with Russ. The PG shit ain't working. What'd they do? They went to getting bad contracts, just taking on bad contracts of people that players just wanted to get off just to get picks. Miami been looking for a star for forever. And I guarantee you Miami's coach will probably feel like they could fix Z. Send Z ass to Miami. And as long as I get Khalil Ware, I'm cool. So the initial trade was Z for Tyler, Z for Ware, Tyler, and whatever little small filler piece you need to fill the rest of the salary. If they say no, Tyler 26, they just re-signed Tyler. Tyler looked like part of the core. Cool, keep Tyler. Give us Wiggins, right? At this point, you don't even care. You do not care what pieces you get, but if you give us Wiggins, we need picks. Well, you need picks for Z regardless, but like, y'all get y'all star, right? You still got Bam and you got Tyler and whatever else you need. Give us Khalil Ware, who y'all been struggling with, and y'all go figure the rest of that shit out. But Z for Ware and either Tyler and some filler, or Z for Ware, Wiggins, and whatever else make that salary work. And I think Miami would do that, to be honest. I think Miami would do that because Miami in the East, if you see what Brandon looked like in the East, and Brandon looked very similar to how he looked when he was here. Like, you just got better players around you, but I guarantee if you put Z with Spo and Bam as his big and Tyler on the perimeter, look how Z gonna show off out there. And they got their whole weight thing and all of that shit. So, like, Pat Riley over there, like, send Z to Miami. If you don't send Z to Miami, the other thing I think you need in this league to be really competitive, you need wings, right? You need wings. But you need true two-way wings. You need true two-way wings. We would take anything for Z, 7 years, no jump shot. I don't think they would. I think, I'll be honest, man. I think if they don't get the right kind of deal or the right kind of look, Z coming back next year. Watch. But so, like, what you need, what this particular team need, dog. You know what's tough? As much as we like Trey, and this is why Trey was being talked about so much last year, because Trey last year we thought was taking that, oh, he a real bucket, right? Like, Trey was looking like a bucket last year. This year, Trey limitations, like, Trey still, one, defensively, he's still a liability. So he's not a two-way player, right? He ain't even really as tall as he is. Like, he don't get no blocks. You know what I mean? Like, when the last time you saw Trey get a block or just he's better on the boards, but he don't really just like affect rebounding like that. So he's a off ball, catch and shoot, cut, like kind of like a slasher. Excuse me. You not winning in this league is that guy is your second primary guy. You need either a bunch of them, but you need more than that. Like, even when Clay was the number 2 in Golden State, Clay was elite defensively, and Clay was also one of the greatest shooters ever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Clay out there hitting people for 60 and whatnot consistently. So I don't think that. So I think you need a player like and I don't know if he's this player yet. But like a Brandon Miller type, right? Like a Shaedon Sharpe type. Like a dude that's just, he athletic, he could shoot, he got that, like Jalen Green to a degree, what Jalen Green was looking like. And I don't know if you could get that. So this was the other deal, right? You said that was another one. You could send Z to Charlotte, for Miles Bridges and Brandon Miller. I don't know if they do it, but if you send Z to Charlotte and then you got LaMelo, Z, Khan, and then all of the other stuff that they have, so boom, now you go Z to Charlotte for Brandon Miller and Miles Bridges. I don't know how long Miles Bridges is gonna be here. Who cares? You can redirect him if you need to, but Brandon Miller is the pick that you want. So then you would be talking about Fizz, Miller, Queen. That's something that like you could work with, right? Like, then now I got my point guard. I got me a fucking 2 who's kind of like a 3 who could, you know what I mean? Brandon Miller was the number 2 pick in the draft. Like, showed he got game. He can't stay healthy, but sometimes you got to take a chance on stuff like that. And Miles Bridges is just a pro. You can redirect them because you ain't trying to win right now anyway. But that's a solid piece to have. So you could do that for Z, especially if you could get one of the Charlotte picks. If I could get that in the Charlotte pick for Z gone. So that's my two exactly. Fierce, Queen, Miller, Young, bro, running it. They won't trade Z for another year, mark my word. They really wanted to work, and Z and Joe are very close. I agree, which is why I think we got the rest of the season. But they still have, it's just becoming, unless they were in on it from the beginning, right? Unless Z and Joe had some kind of agreement from the beginning of the season, then at some point they're going to have to make the decision. And he might be cool enough. He might be good enough, like cool enough with Z to where if he'd be like, look, dog, we're going to be a while. Let me go send you somewhere where you might have a chance. Because realistically, Z about to be 27. How old is Z? Z 26? About to be 27. Like, how many years with the injuries and stuff like that Z got left? You think Z got 5 more seasons? I don't know. Maybe. But with that being the case, you probably want to send him somewhere where he gonna have a shot. And keeping Z not doing nothing for you. Right? Like last year, again, you was one of the worst teams in the league. This year, worst team in the league. Next year, probably one of the worst teams in the league. So you got to do something. Keeping Z don't really do nothing. So those my two moves for Z that I'm pushing for first. Or if I can't do that, I'm going to get Ace. If I can get Ace for Z, not saying that what you call it to do it. Not saying Danny will do it. But I send Zion as to Utah so fast, dog. Give me Ace Bailey. Give me Ace Bailey, Queen, and Fizz. And I just run with the young players. I'll run with the young players, and that'll be my core. Pels will probably trade Zion in the offseason to get his value up, but Herb and DeJounte could be gone by February. Everybody gonna be gone soon. So I do agree. I just don't see Joe and Troy through a rebuild at that age. They ain't got no choice. Joe said he here for the long haul, right? Joe said this is probably one of his last jobs. Dog, imagine, bro, Ace, Fizz, and Queen, bro. You could just imagine the kind of like names they'll come up with and whatnot, like all of the little nicknames and stuff for them three as a trio. But they, dog, Ace, like, I think Ace really got star potential. I think Ace got star potential. Like, if I had to, I hate to say it this way, but if I'm in a rebuild, if I'm trying to, I consider trade to Utah for like Ace, Kessler. What Utah salary look like? Hold on. What Utah salary look like? Because Trey make 25. What would I have to do to get Ace? Utah Jazz. Trey make 25. Shit, give me Ace and Nurkic. Ace and Nurkic could get that done. And some picks. That might be a little too much. That's almost 30. So Ace make 10. Ace make 10. Ace, Niang, and Kessler. Ace, Niang, and Kessler and some picks. Yerman, get you Trey Murphy. Ace, Niang, Kessler. Give me two first. Give me 2 first. You can have him. You can have him. I know a lot of people might not like that deal, but shit, you Trey right now don't do nothing for you. So here's my other, that's the Z move. Here's my other Trey move, right? Well, that the Utah one wasn't one of the ones I thought about ahead of time. But if I gotta move trade to get Ace, I'd do it. I'd do it. But initially, everybody was talking about it's obvious like a team like OKC would take Trey Murphy. Let me ask y'all this. Do you think Trey Murphy would start for OKC? I don't think so. Now, could they obviously maximize? Well, maybe they start him over Dort, but like, like I don't know if they would start him over Dort, but like you could play him at the 4 or something like that, maybe. But Trey not being a 2-way and the limitations offensively, he probably don't start for OKC. But they got so many, bro. They got so many picks and stuff like that. But they ain't gonna even really be able to use everybody. No. So right. So if you OKC, you looking at Trey as like what, a 7th man, 8th man, or something like that. If Trey Murphy, your 8th man, you keep the dynasty up. So this the OKC move for Trey. Because people talk about it. You sent Trey to OKC for Case and Wallace. He 22. Isaiah Joe and Wiggins, but I need the best of whatever these first gonna be. I need the best of whatever these first gonna be. Nobody wants anybody on this team. They're happy losers. Everybody want people on this team because they all do well once they leave here. That's the thing. They only really losers when they're here. When they get out of here, they all tend to do well. Like, that's not all of them. I don't want to say that, but look at Nall. Once Nall got out of here, Jackson's still trash, but Nall looked, you know what I mean, made something for himself. Dyson doing well. Najee was doing well in Dallas, and he looked about the same as he did here, but like Brandon looked the same, but he's in a better situation, so he looks like he's doing better. Shit, Josh Hart left and did better. Lonzo, technically, before he started blowing up the knee, looked significantly better in Chicago. I mean, you could just go down the list of all of the players that leave here and like thrive. Excuse some of them again, some of them not so much, but that's kind of the way it goes. So like you could do that. Trade to OKC for Case and Wallace 22, dog. Imagine putting Case and Wallace next to Jeremiah Fizz. We got the Hawk and Herb. What do we have? I had Hawk and Herb tied together. It was Hawk, Herb, and Jose for Kuminga. Like that deal just seemed like the one that made the most sense. So let's play this out, right? Let's play this out. If you did, hypothetically, let's go with let's say Z to Miami. right? Z to Miami for where, and let's say they don't want to give you Tyler, they give you Wiggins, right? You can do whatever with Wiggins. You know Fizz is your starter. You know Queen is your starter, right? And they all coming off the bench besides BI, but they would start on the Pelicans. Well, no, just got broke off. Pause. Dyson is a starter and just got paid 150 mil or whatever. Dyson got paid. A lot of those dudes made a good name. Lonzo had got big bread to go to Chicago initially. Who else left? I mean, obviously Chris was great. Anthony Davis won a championship. So Josh Hart, made like he was always playing, but remember this was his second team, and then he made the runs, but like he's playing well in New York. So again, bro, all of these players when they leave, I absolutely expect them to look different than they do when they hit. Like the players are talented. Like we ain't even seen Poole. So I just, you know. So if Z go to Miami, right? You'd have Ware, Fierce, Queen, and that's a nice, bruh. Khalil Well look like he gonna be a beast. That's a nice front court. And then let's say you do that, and then you send Trey. Let's say you send Trey to OKC for Wallace, for Case and Wallace, and Wiggins and Isaiah Joe. Right? So then Isaiah Joe, that's right. Put Joe on the bench. And then you could do Herb Jose Hawk for Kuminga. So then that means Wiggins ain't starting. So you got Kuminga there. Right? So then you could have a lineup of something like Fierce, Queen, Case and Wallace, Khalil Ware, Jonathan Kuminga. You gonna be, that ain't no shooting. Jesus, that ain't no shooting. You gonna be athletic as hell. You're gonna be athletic. You're gonna be up and down the court. Give it to All-Star break if we're not looking better than Sell, but I wouldn't trade anyone yet. Fierce and Queen are nice pieces, but they're not championship caliber pieces, players at the centerpieces. So there's the thing. I don't know if they championship caliber pieces, but essentially, other than this year, you got your draft picks for the future, right? If you acquire your picks for this year and you move to the youth movement, then essentially, like if let's say they send Z to Charlotte and you got back Brandon Miller. Now you looking at Fierce, Queen, Brandon Miller as possibly your best player. And regardless if you bad or not, you're gonna be able to you'll have your picks and you'll be able to kind of start at least getting the identity. And we know Fierce more than likely is going, like he's shooting okay now, but like we firmly believe that dude is going to develop his game, right? Like I completely believe that dude is going to develop his game and start to turn it around. So like with Queen, like with building around Queen as the centerpiece, I don't know necessarily if Queen is going to be your centerpiece or if Queen is going to be like your best player. We just know that Queen is going to be here. Right? So you have to get the appropriate pieces. Z would be sick if they sent them to Utah. Ace would be more than happy to play in New Orleans. Dog, I would, if I could get Ace, I would do whatever I could to get Ace. I ain't gonna lie. I send almost anybody off this roster over there to get Ace. I probably start with her. Like I wouldn't move none of the picks, but dog, you can have Trey. You can have Trey. I send Trey out there for Ace. What's Ace? How old is Ace? 19? They got polygamy out there. Said, bro, he gonna bring his baby mama with him. You know what I mean? Maybe it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. So I don't know. I would at this point, you're not doing nobody no favors, bro. You got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do to get this team back competitive, and they're not gonna be competitive for another couple years. Somebody asked earlier, where's the question? Hold on, how long did I think it would take before the Pelicans are a 50-win team? Like, you was almost a 50. There you go. How many years do you think it take for the Pelicans 50 to consistently find a right coach, get more talent out the draft? Bruh, Troy can draft. Can Joe get the right coach? Which is why I'm like, I'm willing to take the loss on the players to a degree if we get in the picks. So that's why I'm saying, like, if you had to take, and that's how you do it, if you got to take the bad salary, like if you consider Wiggins from Miami bad salary, but I get Khalil Ware in like a pick or two, you can have Zion, Trey Murphy. Like if I sent Trey to Utah for Ace, because they got to figure out what they're doing with Lauri Markkanen, and they just gave Lauri that money. You know what I mean? Like, that don't mean they got to try to win right away, but at some point they're going to have to do something. But go send Trey for Ace, Kessler, and picks. And like, shit, give me Queen, Fizz, Ace, Kessler, and do Herb and whatnot for Kuminga. Do Herb, Hawkins, Jose for Kuminga. And then we'll just fill out the rest of the roster off the picks. And you still ain't move Zion. Bro, you got opportunities. You still, so then think about this. That's just two players, three maybe with Herb. We're talking about Herb. We haven't considered moving Missy yet, which Missy got some value. You could get, like, I ain't saying you can't keep Eves, but if somebody offer you something for Eves, when how last year the Lakers offered Charlotte, it was Dalton Connect and a pick for Mark Williams. If somebody offer you something for Eves, like, you ain't got no reason to turn it down. Get Eves out of here so you can go get yourself a more versatile guy. Plus, Carlo probably the best player anyway out of the two. Sadiq Bey. I thought about Sadiq Bey. I had a Murray. This was a if you trying to, because everybody like they keeping Z. You've been seeing the LaMelo Ball thing kind of floating around. If that's the case, you could go DeJounte Murray and Sadiq Bey for LaMelo Ball. And what it looked like they being Charlotte want to get like more mature. So I think a player like Murray might be good in that situation. It would be replaced, like they still would need a point. I'm not sure he would want to go to Charlotte, but again, who cares? This is the NBA. CJ playing in Washington right now. I know that wasn't on his bingo card. So I would consider that. Like, consider having, let's do this. If you did Sadiq Bey and Murray for LaMelo, right? Sadiq Bey and Murray for LaMelo. So now you got LaMelo, you still got Z, and you still technically got Trey. If you did Herb for Kuminga, right? Herb, Jose, Hawk for Kuminga. You got Kuminga. You technically still got Poole. You could start Queen. Like, you still got roster options and flexibility and whatnot to make this an interesting. The team could be interesting, and you can make it to the point where they're younger and stuff moving forward, and you still would have pieces to where if you needed to blow it up, you could get picks and try it out. So, like, if LaMelo, they was just to the point where, like, look, we just trying to get off LaMelo. And for the rest of this, like, they made that trade, DeJounte Murray and Sadiq Bey for LaMelo, and then they redirected Sadiq Bey somewhere. That's all good. And then you end up with LaMelo Z trade for like the rest of the season. It'll at least be fun. They may never play. But it'll be cool. right? Or if you did bring LaMelo in and then move Z for somebody, no, you gotta get the coach. You gotta get the coach. I think James gonna finish this season. I think James Borrego gonna finish this season because I don't know who would. Because when you become if they hire a head coach right now, you got to think like that guy's tenure would start right now, which means he gonna start with some L's, right? Like the roster ain't right. You ain't got no all season. Nobody gonna sign up for that because that record matters when like them seasons go by and they're like they starting to look at, what's his record. Like it's different when you Joe Mazzulla and you took over a ready-made team and your first year as a head coach, you go to the championship and win, and then your second year, you know what I mean, you the number 1 or number 2 seed in the East because you got Tatum and Brown. Like your coaching record is gonna look completely different than somebody who would take over right now. You're probably gonna start with some else because it's a rebuild. And what are you rebuilding with? Like, I just think you have to brace yourself. You have to brace yourself if you're a Pels fan for like 3 to 5. 3 to 5. The crazy part is we don't know what we have right now because they never all play together. That's the biggest thing. Like, I don't understand, bro. I really think Poole is the key to all of this. Like, I think Poole is the key to all of this because Z is technically Ace only, bro. Ace a rookie, bro. Ace a rookie. It's fine. I ain't worrying about none of what Ace average. Look how long it took Shaden Sharp to turn into what Shaden Sharp look like right now. Right? But the tools were there. Freakish athlete, don't care about shooting, footwork, offensive game, got ability to be good defensively. Like, if we make a move for like Ace, like think about Fizz. What would Ace average? Here's the question. What would Ace average if he was on the Pelicans right now? If Ace was on the Pelicans right now, playing in all of these minutes, you know what I mean? Playing, I don't know, 25, 30 minutes a game in this offense and whatnot, Ace might average like 15. So a lot of that be situational. I like Ease, but if we should have got where in that draft. David Griffin was supposed to move up and go take Khalil Webb. But no, David Griffin being David Griffin, they had their eyes set on Ease from day one. And everybody, that's another thing too about the Pelicans. Everybody know what they're gonna do. Everybody know what moves it is they're gonna make. Ain't nothing, ain't nothing like, I don't want to say unpredictable, but they don't have no real surprise moves. Trade Herbert Murray, keep the rest for now. What's for now? I say you could keep them to the trade deadline because one, you can. December is when you really gonna start seeing some of the moves because the people that sign contracts is getting ready to be available. So like, you ain't got no choice but really to keep somebody for now. The problem is though, I think the Queen move was a surprise. A lot of people knew they loved Queen. A lot of people knew they loved Queen and they thought they would go get Queen. They just didn't know what they would give up for Queen. That was the surprise. Not that they got Queen. What you gave up to get Queen was the surprise. Like, oh, y'all gave that up. And this is what I think I said this before too about the Queen trade. I feel like when they started the Queen trade, like the calls, remember Joe said, look, I called everybody from like 9 down. If he offered, think about this. If he offered all of those teams that first round pick and they said no, some of those dudes need to be fired too. Right? That just means y'all valued whoever it was y'all had enough to not move back into the draft and possibly take that first. Have you seen what they've been putting on the court tonight? You can't take this organization as serious. Yeah, I don't, bro. Listen, that's why I'm willing to move everything. I'm willing to move everything. I'm keeping Fizz, Queen. Peavy gonna be around, but I don't know shit. Peavy can move too. And I like Michael Peavy, but he ain't got no offense. You need true two-way players, dog. That's why players like Case and Wallace make Case and Wallace, Wiggins, what's that boy? AJ Mitchell that's in OKC. OKC has true two-way players top to bottom on the roster. Every last one of them. Like, or if they're not true two ways, they got like defined skill sets. Like Isaiah Hartenstein is a beast on the boards, right? And like great defensively. Even Lou Dort is kind of like a two-way. Like he don't do like he defends like hell, and I'm gonna knock down some threes. And he ain't shooting that well this year, but like it don't matter. Like that is the model, bro. You need true two-way players in order to be Feds ain't passing who to rock. Ace. Dog, if you cleaned house, right, and you had something like Fizz, Ace, Queen to build around, I think those three would form a relationship to where, like, because Queen and Fizz, and again, Queen and Fizz with the shit right now. Like, Queen and Fizz really, like, they ain't used to losing like this. So that's why you see them getting into it with everybody at the games. And anytime Fizz get into it, you see Queen come like, that's my dog, I got your back. The rest of these dudes ain't like that. They walking around, they small and dabbing people off. Like, you supposed to foul somebody when they busting you up. Like that, you know what I mean? Get frustrated. And them dudes like him fouling, like, no, you're not just coming down the middle of the lane getting no layup. So I completely understand like where Fizz and Queen coming from. And I guarantee you, he looking at them dudes like, man, all y'all weak, man. All y'all soft. All y'all soft. SOFT, soft. So I had a couple ideas. Like I said, like you could do. So let's recap. Herb to Golden State seems like an idea. Kuminga need to get up out of there. And like honestly, I just think a lot of people don't like the Kuminga shooting and stuff like that. But you saw when Kuminga got an opportunity to play, he could just be a downhill monster, athletic. He could play defensively and stuff. Like he gonna run the floor. Like I think what is Kuminga average for the career? Or not for the career, but like we seen Kuminga average sometimes like 16, you know what I mean? He was getting 20 in the playoff games. So hold on. Hold on for a second. Jonathan Kuminga. Last year, when he was averaged, at 24 minutes a game, he was averaging 15. And the year before that, at 26 minutes a game, he was averaging 16. I think Herb averages. And Herb old. Herb 27? Kuminga 20, 22, 23? Yeah, the most Herb average was in the 49 win season. He averaged 11. So like, no, man, give me the dude with the highest ceiling that's significantly younger and more athletic and more dynamic with the highest, the highest ceiling. So do that, bro. Do that. That might be one of the first moves we see, one of the first dominoes to fall, right? Herb or Kuminga, get Jordan Poole back. There's a lot of pieces we still ain't talked about. You don't know what they could get if they decide to just really blow it up and move Jordan Poole. And then if they move Z, Trey, Poole, Herb, and Murray, yeah. Yes, bro, exactly. Herb career averages. His rookie season, he averaged 9.5 in 30 minutes. Now, granted, he was good defensively, but his first year, 21-22. In 30 minutes a game, he averaged 9.5. In 2020, his second season, 30 minutes a game, 9.8. The third season, which is the 49 win season, he averaged 11. Last year he got hurt, but he was only averaging 10. This year, he been a little in 32 minutes a game, he was averaging 10. This year, he back to averaging 9. So, like, what are we doing? I think Zion thinks they solved too. He just don't play. He just doesn't play. My only problem, he's one of the players not smiling on the bench. I agree. I agree, which is why I think he over it. I think he over it. Like if you look at Z, dog, Z typically been like just really angry with what's going on. I just think he's just like, dog. Like I said, it's one or two things that Z know. Z know him and Joe gonna be like, look, we gonna blow this shit up anyway. It's just a process to go about doing it. Like that's why I'm, and that's kind of why I'm putting a lot more like not blame, but like I'm looking at Borrego like, oh, you really don't know what to do with Queen. You really don't know how to use your best players. Because there should be no reason Queen and Z, if they ain't figured out how to play, you got to have them on the court anyway so they can. Right? Like those two are your two most dynamic players. They got to be able to figure it out. You got to figure it out as the coach. That's why I'm like, all right, he not the answer. Because if Z and Joe is as tight as they look like they was, it's possible that Z gonna be here. It's possible that Joe just kind of like, dog, don't worry about none of this. Like we gonna take this, just sort this shit out. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go get the right people. Like listen, Kuminga coming in. We got some other people coming in. Don't worry. And maybe he got that same conversation with Poole. I don't know, but you ain't never hear them say anything about the players not being on the court. So like if we gonna ask ownership like management or the coaching or anything, like any questions, it's kind of got to be like, how do y'all feel about like the players not being available, and like, you know, how does that affect the fans, and you know, whatever. It's kind of like you're probably gonna get the standard answer, oh, it's unfortunate, you know, but players are hurt, blah blah blah. But it's kind of like Joe came in and was like, if you could play, you're gonna play. Well, if Poole got cleared a week ago, and I know they said he's not cleared for contact, it's like, well, then what is he cleared for? I don't know. Pels need a Dylan Brooks. You do need a Dylan Brooks when you're going through like a transition. Somebody who just going like, that's kind of with though, like when OK, and I hate to keep going to OKC, bro. That shit is really annoying. But like when OKC was going through their rebuild and they got CP, though CP was mean. Like that dude is just like a general. You need somebody like that zero tolerance. I don't care. We get a like I feel like you need you need the Najis, right? You need the Najis. You need the Dorts. You need, and it's not in Herb is, to me, while Herb was a great defender to a degree, Herb is not of that. Herb is not of that. You need Draymond. Like, I know people don't like Draymond, but Draymond on your team holds you accountable. We not doing none of that weak, nothing that so. Even like amongst your team, right? Like, nah, bro, we gotta run the offense. Nah, bro, we gotta, like, you know what I'm like, all of that stuff make a difference when you're trying to put together a winner. You gotta get real winners in the building. You gotta get real winners in the building. And that's really what it boils down to. So it's possible that Z might not move. It's possible we might not see none of that to the offseason, but there is optimism, because if they do move, right? If they do move, you can see a world where some of the players that would fit around your players, you would have like possibility again. Like if you're gonna move Trey, I think you could look at moving Trey for like, you know, you could possibly see a Duren. You know what I mean? You could possibly see Jalen Duren and Ivy for like a Trey Murphy, something like that. I would look to go young, and Jalen Duren and Jaden Ivey are young, but you get what I'm saying. Like if you went, then you would look at like Fierce Ivy, Queen, Duren, and I don't know. Technically, you would still have Z, but like, yeah, bro, I don't know. He definitely misuses Queen. Absolutely. And I think that's why he don't play the man enough minutes. Like, he's too impactful. We've seen Queen be too impactful. Like, I understand he having bad games, but like just being on the court, players like that could get it going at any time, bro. Like if Joker having granted, no, he's not Joker. So I don't want to throw that out there. But like the dude getting 30, 12, and 8 or whatever, like, yeah, he can have bad games and struggles at time. He a rookie. But you gotta continue to play him. It's the only chance you gotta win it. It's the only chances. Herb is like Bruce Bowen, Shane Battier type. We treating him like Draymond. Exactly. He not, bro. He not that. He not that. So you gotta, like, you can move on from Herb Jones. It's okay. Go get that more dynamic offensive player that's gonna play today's style of basketball more effectively. That you could do more things with. Kuminga could post. Bro, come on. Trey definitely be looking soft out there. He never shows any edge. No, falling down. Like at most, he might point at somebody. Like he athletic, but like you ain't worried about Trey. Trey don't drive with no oomph behind him. You know what I mean? That's why I want, like, if I could go get Ace, like give me Ace Bailey. Like I just think Ace gonna be good in the league. And I was so wrong about VJ Edgecombe, dog. Oh, boy, they better not ever say you could give me VJ for Trey. Like Trey Murphy for VJ Edgecombe and something else. That should have been done. VJ, something else, and some picks. And then I could run Fizz, VJ, Queen, Dove. Talk about athleticism in the backcourt. And then I can still make that Herb move for Kuminga. We ain't gonna have no shooting. No, that's what you need, bro. You need a dog. Like you need somebody. They need to go, like, Fizz is the closest thing you got. He give you that CP3, that young CP3, but you know CP3 used to nut check people. He trip you, fall in front of you and whatnot. Like Fizz got a little bit of that. No, I ain't bagging out from nobody. Yeah, I fouled you. Yeah, I pushed you. What you gonna do? Yeah, no, now you gotta guard me. Like, and that's fine too. He could be a leader. You need like what Marcus Smart used to be like. Hell no, they ain't. They get a VJ for Trey. You could probably get Zazie, Mac, or Grimes. Grimes was nice though. Grimes was nice. And Mac was nice too. But I'd offer it. Depending on what people around the league think of Trey. I make the call. If you could get Trace in the Kuminga deal, you take it. I'd rather a pick than Trace. Like if you doing a Kuminga deal, if you could get any picks in that, you do it. But like Trace Jackson Davis not a bad player. I prefer Quentin Post, to be honest. I want the center that can stretch the floor, possibly shoot a little bit, and that's 7 feet. But I like Jackson Davis too. But if I got like Kuminga, Quentin Post, I'd do that. They don't even really play Quentin Post like talking about no more. They don't play Trace either too much, which is a little weird for them. But bruh, as you sit here and talk about it, like if you getting ready to get off players like Trey, right? If you getting off players like Trey, you gotta look at really young studs. Like Trey is an established stud for like a team. I don't want to say that's getting ready to win, but like a team that feel like Golden State look at Trey as like a player that could give them real chance to contend, right? But other than Kuminga, what do they have that you want? So I'm not sending Trey for Kuminga. Like, no, you could take Herb. Herb can help you do that too. So like, if I'm moving Trey, I'm moving Trey for like, if I can move Trey for Brandon Miller in picks, I'll do it. Or if I can move Trey for VJ, like I'm trying to go get me a young stud for Trey Murphy. Like if I could do that, that would be my move. And Z, if I'm moving Z, I'm moving Z for another young player. I can see Orlando calling for Trey. So let me ask y'all this since you brought up Orlando. Shout out to my boy Mike. Shout out to my boy Mike. Mike, you know, Orlando been real unhappy with Paolo. Orlando been real unhappy with Paolo. If Paolo was available, right, and you could figure out doing Paolo for Z, like, I don't know about y'all, but I do Paolo for Z in a heartbeat. And I think Z the better player. But Paolo here would be exactly what you need. Paolo got dog. Paolo got dog. I've been at the games, bro. Z been trying to leave, but it's a process. Winning cures all. Listen, I've been at it too. That dude frustrated. He been frustrated since they didn't fire Willie in the offseason. You could just tell. I like Fear's attitude. Absolutely. Any deal we do with the Warriors need to see Looney getting sent back. They seem like they miss him anyway. They can have him. Looney don't need to be around this. You got the veteran you need for Queen anyway in DeAndre Jordan. Like DeAndre Jordan doing a good enough job to where you can send Looney back, and Looney make $8 million. Like, if you send Looney back and get $8 million worth of stuff from Golden State, like, I don't think they do it because they not looking to they don't even really play Looney like that. Or they weren't playing Looney like that. Golden State. Hold on. What could you get back? I mean, no, they wouldn't. You ain't gonna really get much back for that. If you could find a way to pull off, well, this is the thing. Herb only make $13 million this year. So if you getting Kuminga, well, maybe you could do Herb. Now you could do Herb and Looney for Kuminga. That might work as far as like from the financial. Herb make 14. Yeah, Herb make 13, Looney make 8, you right at 20, Kuminga make 22. You can make that happen. So shit, that'll work out too. Send both of them back. Bet. And then we have listen, man, I'm just trying to upgrade and get the talent and get people that like hopefully gonna be willing to play. But the coach gotta go. Gotta figure out the coach. And if you're not figuring out if you just looking at this season as like, I'm just letting him do whatever he got to do to where we could, you know what I mean? We just kind of get through the season so I can hire my own coach. And you ain't giving him no rules and stuff like that. All right, cool. Then the only other way to do it is you got to get rid of the players that he wants to use. Kind of like what you should have did with Willie some years ago. Get rid of the players that was hindering the team. Force him to play players that needed to be played. So, I don't know. We'll see. But, man, let me see. Bro's the type of talent you can't move till the wheels fall off. Shit. Listen, I don't want to move Z. But somebody like the team not doing nothing. So what are we doing? Right? So what are we doing? If not, they bad. They're bad. And at some point you gotta, like, it don't make no sense to be bad as they just get older and older and older. You might as well rebuild and go get the kind of talent and the kind of like players that you want to, transition to. But I like Z. Honestly, I think Z is still clearly the best player, and I think you could make it work, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna be in the building tonight, man. Catch them versus these Timberwolves is probably gonna be another loss. I'm pretty sure, but it's nice to always see Z versus Ant, So we'll go from there. Appreciate everybody that tapped in, man. Hit that like button. You know, we're gonna probably do some more fun stuff down the way because the season is pretty much a loss. It is what it is. The only way they're gonna really have a shot is if everybody get healthy. But that's just some things to consider. Like if you were gonna move Z, consider players like Khalil Ware, Brandon Miller. If you're gonna move Trey, young players, Case and Wallace, the VJs, like you say, Grimes was one. Grimes, McCain. Like if you could do Murray, like DeJounte Murray for LaMelo right now, I consider that. Herb can't be traded until December. I think it was. I think it's December or something like that. Herb could be moved. I don't think it's next year. I think it's December when all of those new trades and stuff kick in. His ass could be moved. So I don't know, but man, appreciate y'all for tapping in. Hit that like button, share the channel, share the page. I'll catch y'all probably. Yeah, no, December, like mid-December, I think the time frame from like when they sign to when they could trade, when they could be traded. Is it January? Okay, I knew it was somewhere around there, like December, January, something like that. So they could absolutely be moved. So be on the lookout for that. Y'all be safe, man. Enjoy the rest of y'all day. Appreciate y'all tapping with me this morning. Pels in a blender, A. Davis. I'm out. Peace.